Chapter 3. Latoya Jones. My day started out low Sundays at First Baptist Church in Dallas, Texas. Pastor Shelby had told me that we had to hire a new music director for the church. I was working under the First Lady, so the final say would be mine. Now, I had heard how the choir was excited after Michael Tree played the organ. They said he was like a new Stevie Wonder. When I heard that, I had no idea just how attractive he would be. All the women were talking about him. It was a no-brainer to hire him, so I did. They kept saying how our church was going to be at another level. Anything would help me. The pain I felt that day, I hoped would not show on my face. I kept thinking about how I should never have left my family to be abused like this. And to tell you the truth, pastors get away with more because people think holy people would never do anything wrong. Well, I know different. I left Illinois 10 years ago. I was traveling with the Singing Angels, a group our church had created. We came up with such a name because we were very good, and all 6 girls were in our late teens. The pastor got many requests for us to sing, so we started going to different cities singing. Mom and Dad wanted me to get some new experiences, so I thought it would be all right. I love to sing. I got my voice from my parents, who could both sing beautifully. I have 2 sisters. Lacey, who was 12, and Larisha, who was just 8. They were taking up all my time when we were growing up in Illinois. I was always watching them. Big sister watched the girls, my mom would say, like she was giving me a presidential title. At first, I didn't mind. Mom would buy me things for watching them. Larisha was my nightmare. She was boy crazy and ended up pregnant at 13 by a random boy who was 15. My dad was so mad, he blamed me for letting her sneak out at night. And my poor little sister's life turned to hell. My dad banned her from going outside like the other kids. He was always yelling at her. Mom tried to let her do things with her, like food shopping, but that wasn't enough. And when Dad had Curtis arrested for statutory rape, it was too much for Larisha, and she lost the baby. That was a very sad day for all of us girls, even Mom. Larisha's relationship with Dad was never the same after that. It was so hard for Dad to let me sing with a group, but Mama convinced him. But then she pulled me aside and said, "Latoya, we are going to let you sing, but if you come back talking about being pregnant..." She shook her head with tears in her eyes and gave me a hug as we loaded onto the bus. Now, don't get me wrong, we had chaperones. 2 women for us girls and 2 men for the boys. These trips were so much fun, and Pastor Shelby would sometimes join us. Pastor Richard Shelby was one of the new upcoming pastors, and he was only 26 years old. He was an instant success preaching. When his dad, Senior Pastor Shelby, got sick, he took over for him. All the girls were talking about how fine he was. He had good hair, gorgeous green eyes, and like his father, he could preach really well. But there was something about him when we first met. I couldn't put my finger on it. He was charming and always nice. I can't say like the rest that I was only somewhat attracted to him. He would call me in front of the church, and we would sing duets. We brought the house down all the time. One day he told the church he was getting married. He told the church he was marrying Glenda James. None of us saw it coming, and really, I was mad. I never wanted to admit how I felt about a man 10 years older than me. I knew I had to tell him how I felt about him before it was too late. I thought about it long and hard. We were going to be singing in Dallas, Texas, and then I would have my chance, I thought, as I played it out in my head. This was a big event. It was going to be televised and everything. Everybody was excited. But just my luck, he brought Glenda. I saw him looking at me a few times on the way there. I was sitting 1 seat back from them on the right side. "Latoya, you ready?" David asked me. He was a boy who liked me, but was not my type at all. He was one that thought all the girls wanted him because he looked like Prince. I saw a pastor look back and give me half of a smile. "I'm going to sing like I'm on stage," I responded, laughing. "That's what I'm talking about, Latoya," Pastor said. looking back at me and winking. I could almost swear he was attracted to me. I have seen times where he would be staring at me. I thought maybe he thought I was too young, but I was 19. I had big boobs like my mother. My hair was over my shoulders, and I had hazel brown eyes like both my sisters. I always heard the boys say how cute the Jones girls are, so I knew at least he had to think I was pretty. Soon, it was time to stop and take a break so we could eat and use the restroom. The pastor was right behind me when I got off the bus, and Glenda was behind him. Latoya, all of the people on this trip can sing, but you are one of the best, he said to me as we walked into McDonald's. Then Glenda, to my surprise, said, "Your voice is like Whitney Houston." "Wow, what a compliment, guys," I said, giving them both a hug. That made my day, and I forgot all about telling Pastor how I really felt about him. I mean, who was I to break up his engagement? Afterward, we all ate and then got back on the bus. The pastor started to sing. He says, "Come on, Latoya, sing with me." And we started singing. Praise is what I do. I could feel the electricity again between us, like I have felt so many times before. It was almost better than an orgasm. There I was again, wanting a man who was 10 years older, engaged, and worst of all, he was a pastor. I needed to have my head examined for even thinking I had any chance. I watched Glenda's eyes as she watched him sing. Soon we all were singing as the bus headed down the highway. The most shocking thing that happened was going to happen soon and change my life forever.